A year ago, I weighed 255 pounds. I would smoke 2 packs a day. I drank excessively. I'd smoke 2 ounces of weed a month. I was addicted to crap foods and I didn't exercise at all. And I was that way for about a decade. Actually, as you can see from the photos, I was a former fat guy for most of my life. Today, I'm 100 pounds lighter. I haven't smoked in 8 months. I haven't drank in 6 months. I lift and exercise daily. And while I'm still addicted to foods, I have changed what foods I am addicted to. How did I do this? It was simple, but not easy. Hi guys, I'm Tyler, and on this channel, I'm here to show why and how I went from a current to former fat guy, and to try to help anyone who's had similar struggles and wants to make the same changes that I did, but doesn't know how. Now, one question I've got from the people in my life is, why, Tyler? Why did you get on such a health kick? Well, it all started 2 years ago at the start of the pandemic in 2020. I met a woman named Christy, the most fun-loving, kind-hearted, beautiful woman I've met to this day, and we began to date. But just as I was falling in love with her, sadly, she suddenly passed away on November 5th, 2020 from a pulmonary embolism. This was an obvious shock to my system and sent me into a very deep depression through most of 2021. Hell, by July of 2021, I had weighed 255 pounds from overeating, I had no energy, and to be honest, I was suicidal. And the vices that I had had for the last 10 years, they weren't helping. That's when I knew I came to a crossroad and I had to make a choice. Either keep walking down a dark path that I knew I wasn't going to escape from, or I had to make a fundamental change of the man that I was. Now, I knew Christy wouldn't have wanted to be the reason why I fell so hard, so I chose the latter, and I knew it was time to make a change. This leads me to the point of the channel. How did I make the fundamental changes that I did to get here, healthy, out of my depression, away from my vices, and 100 pounds lighter? As a quick side note, I'm not a doctor, not a kinesiologist, not a personal trainer, not a bodybuilder, not a dietitian. I'm not a nothing. I'm just a former fat guy who wants to try to help current fat guys who want to make the same changes that I did. And while I can't fit everything into one video, these are the basic steps that I took over my health journey over the last year. And step 1 is to understand that this is a long and never-ending fight. So start slow. Well, today I can run a 5K in about 24 minutes. I lift 4 to 5 times a week. I would call myself decently strong. It wasn't always this way. I did not start like this by any means necessary. The first thing I did was to cut out the junk. Cut out the obvious junk. I got rid of my 3 Red Bulls a day I would drink. I got rid of the entire bag of family-sized Doritos that I would eat on an everyday basis. I would cut out the trips to Taco Bell where I would go and order half of the menu in one sitting. And that was the focus to start with. If you can cut out the clear and obvious junk to begin with, then you're on a good start. You don't have to worry about doing everything perfectly to begin. Just start slow and cut out the junk. This leads me on to step 2. It's about progress, not perfection. During the first 2 months, I skipped the occasional workout. I would eat the occasional junk food still. I still smoked cigarettes. I still smoked weed. I still drank as well. But through the process, I tried to work on these little steps of cutting the junk out, and I would also force myself through 30-minute, 3 times a week, just wussy little workouts, just to try and continue to build the habits and just work on the progress of it on a day-to-day basis. Once I had those habits built, as sad and as small as they were, it was time for step 3. After 3 to 4 months of forcing myself through these things, I had lost only about 10 pounds, and I didn't feel like it was enough over that time, and I still didn't have the energy to stop my vices. So I committed to keep educating myself on health and fitness to this point, which led me down the path of calories in, calories out, the law of thermodynamics, and body recomposition, thanks to the help of YouTubers like Sean Nalawani, Greg Doucette, Jeff Nippert, and a ton more. With my newfound knowledge that I had and the small, sad habits that I had built to this point, I was ready to take the next step. So I needed to get comfortable, and the 2 areas where most of my efforts had to go for me to find a real success in my weight loss journey. So let me take you out there. During the first 3 months when I was just doing my wussy little 30-minute workouts 3 times a week, I just used my body weight, this bench, and the smaller Bowflex dumbbells over here. But when it was time to commit to my body recomposition and taking the next step in my health, I built out this home gym. So I didn't have the excuse of, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to pay for a gym membership. And then I knew if I built this home gym and came out here and just looked at it not being used, I'd feel like crap. So all that made me more apt to want to work out on a regular basis, and it worked for me. So I committed to working each muscle group 2 times a week, which led me to doing anywhere from 4 to 6 lifts per week. I ended up doing the push-pull leg split, so about 6 lifts a week is what was right for me. However, as important as this was, only about 20% of my time and energy for my health and fitness was put out here. If you truly want to get healthy, if you really want to lose weight, then it all starts here. I can say without a shadow of a doubt that 80% of my time and effort had to be put into here. As the old saying goes, you can't outwork a bad diet, and for a majority of my life, my diet was garbage. Hot garbage. Because of that, the majority of the time on this channel will be spent in here, showing you basic cooking recipes, basic cooking tips and tricks, how to effectively manage your calories, how to hit your macros for protein and fat, but to also show you that you don't just have to eat chicken and broccoli to do so like you'll see on bodybuilding videos. I've seriously had days where I ate chocolate cake all day. I'm serious. I've eaten an entire chocolate cake in one day and still hit my protein goals. You just gotta learn how to make basic substitutions and do some basic cooking. But for this video, the only tips that I'll show has to do with counting and tracking your calories and how to hold yourself accountable doing so. And that starts over here. So for my body recomposition, the first thing I had to do was figure out my maintenance calories. So I used various online calorie calculators to determine what that was. Now, one thing I learned very early on was that most people overestimate the calories they burn and they underestimate the calories they eat. So on these calorie calculators, I decided to choose the no exercise option for all of them. Now that put my maintenance at about 2,400 calories, and then you want to put yourself in a 500 deficit for a pound a week loss. That put me down to 1,900 calories, which brings me to the most important tip I can give you. We've all heard of MyFitnessPal for tracking calculators. It's got a pretty little barcode scanner, it's got a pretty little app that helps you track things, but how easy is it to walk into the kitchen or walk into your pantry and just not pull your phone out, to just not open the app? When it's not a habit you have built, it's so easy to just come in here, grab a quick something, bam, in, out, your phone is gone. Oh, I'll add it to my phone later. No, you won't, because that's what I did for the first 2 months. I was using MyFitnessPal without using MyFitnessPal. So you need to put a whiteboard either near your kitchen or on your fridge or just somewhere around here to where you can put what your daily goals are and where you can put where you're at today. So every time you step in this kitchen, if you put something in your mouth, you write it on the board. It's a lot harder to cheat yourself when you're staring at it in the face when you're in the kitchen versus when it's in your pocket. Out of sight, out of mind, in your face when it's in your face. So, with lifting 6 days a week and eating at 1,900 calories per day, the weight started coming off very quickly. I was getting more energy, like I said, I was losing the weight, and all that led me to the next step, which was... For anyone out there who's a smoker or a drinker, past or present, we all know, we've all got a spot. And that spot is where we would go on an everyday, all-day basis to smoke a cigarette, smoke a bowl, take a shot, drink a beer, whatever your vice of choice is. But when you finally make the decision to quit, the first thing you have to do is you gotta blow those things up with a metaphorical C4 and deep clean those places as hard as you've ever cleaned anything in your life. My 2 spots were the bathroom and my car. So the first thing that I did was I paid $300 to get my car detailed, to get rid of the cigarette butts. I got it ozone treated to get the smell out of my car so I wasn't smelling cigarettes all day every day. You got to get rid of these things that pull you back into these old habits. And then once you do that, then you have to make the decision to cold turkey. And I say cold turkey because you don't want to wean yourself. Weaning is just leaving a door crack behind you. So when things get tough, and trust me, things get tough, you'll just turn right back around and go through that door you left cracked. But if you can make it through 1 month of mental hell, and trust me, it's 1 month of mental hell, then you've given yourself more credibility. You've put in that work that you have something to fall back on when things do get hard. You'll get to those times where you think about having a cigarette or having a drink, and you'll ask yourself, am I really going to throw away that 1 month of mental hell just for one cigarette or one beer? And if you're smart, you'll say, no, I didn't go through that hell for nothing. That's why you go through it. Once you make it through that 1 month of hell, though, you're healthier, you're happier, your chemistry levels in your brain are way better, and it leads to more things. Like, I could taste more. It made the diet even easier. And it even led to what was the most important physical step for me on the continuation of my weight loss, which was, once I was able to cut smoking out completely, when I made it through that 1 month of hell, the next step for me was to incorporate cardio. I started off by running 5Ks 3 to 4 times a week in the morning, very slowly at first, but I worked my way up to 24 minutes per 5K. It also ended up being really rough on the appetite and really rough on my knees because I've blown both of them out before. So I've experimented since then and found the best way for me is to walk. I shoot for 10 to 15,000 steps every day. It allows me and my dogs here to get out. We get our exercise together, we get our sunlight. But whatever it is for you, experiment. Do whatever you enjoy. Biking, running, jogging, swimming. Just get yourself moving. It increases the calories that you burn. It gets your blood flowing, increases your energy levels. It allows you to eat more food, makes hitting the macros easier, makes the diet more enjoyable. And once this became habit, it was time for the next step. So let's head back to the office for the mental step. Whether it's strength plateaus in the gym, feeling like you're making no progress, or life hitting you with difficulties in general, you gotta be ready for these and to fight the feelings of wanting to quit on your progress, because it will happen to you. Guaranteed. Just look at my weight chart over the last year. My weight was consistently dropping until about 4 to 5 months ago when things slowed down and it began to fluctuate up and down because I had less body fat to lose. But admittedly, this frustrated the hell out of me. Not to mention, I was still fighting the constant mental tug of cigarettes, weed, and booze pulling at me. But I knew if I could persevere through this and keep working on my daily progress, that things would get easier and easier, and they did. So you need to be ready to move on in spite of these feelings, not stop because of these feelings. So to wrap up, I could have dove much deeper into all of these topics, and I will in later videos, but these were the basic major principles that I used to lose my weight, get healthy, and quit my vices. If there's any topics here that you want more info on, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be coming out with more videos showing recipes, basic cooking tips, my workouts, how I stay motivated, and everything in between. In the meantime, like and subscribe, and I appreciate you watching. Catch you in the next one.